right, man. I was having a talk with somebody in the gym this morning. They made a good point. Maybe the Pistons are waiting to secure Duren before they make a deal. Now, it's a lot of people that's in my comment section, and I see it. They're saying, well, the offseason is not over, CJ. The offseason is not over. So is Jalen Duren the one holding up the additional move? May it be DeMar DeRozan, Peyton Watson, Jonathan Kuminga? I'm just throwing names that's still available. Don't shoot the messenger. Is that what it is? Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. How do you go slower than a semi truck? Like, literally. But, that could be the case. You know, I've said it over and over again. Their number one priority was to get Jalen Duren signed, and their number two priority, that's what, according to the reports, their number two priority is to get Asar Thompson signed, right? And they want to do that because he's playing on an expiring contract. I mean, in my opinion, and like I said, I don't get paid to make these decisions, but in my opinion, the number one priority realistically should have been to get Cade an additional score, a primary scorer. Everybody is talking about the ball handling and the turnovers. It's not that he's a bad decision maker. If you had a ball in your hand, you're going to have high turnovers when you're a young player. But when you don't have somebody that can take something off you offensively, when scoring, you're the number one scorer, you're the number one facilitator, you're one of the team's top defenders, you know, and you don't have an additional scorer to take the load off of you, what else do you expect? I mean, Asar can handle the ball, but he's not a threat to do nothing with it other than giving a pass. But if he had a ball, why wouldn't I fall back on other defenders? Therefore, he's not a threat to shoot. He's not a threat to finish at the bucket sometimes. Therefore, if we fall on the other offensive players, he's not even a threat to facilitate. So there's no outlet out there. Even with a guy like Duncan Robinson, yeah, he can play make a little bit. You know, he can play make a little bit. But there's nobody you're going to get a ball to and say, hey, go make some magic happen. Go get me a bucket. No. Yeah, you had to throw it to Tobias Harris for y'all to be successful. You had to give it to him in the post for them to be successful. But John Collins can do some of that. You know what he do? He in most years he's a by far better rebounder than our good brother Tobias Harris. Yes. You know, he's been a 2010 guy all-star, but can he be that guy in Detroit? I think he could. But that's still not your number two guy. At best, he's your number three guy. They don't have a real primary scorer. And your point guard shouldn't be your primary scorer. And he shouldn't be your primary scorer. He shouldn't be the guy that we all fall on to score and facilitate. That shouldn't be the case. You know, it's even today's day and that where you got to score. No. Your job as a point guard is to facilitate, is to do what the team needs you to do. Especially from an offensive standpoint of view. That's the objective. You know, that's the objective. To do what we need you to do. At all costs, you know. And as of right now, that could be the case. Because you do bring in a DeMar DeRozan. He can handle the ball. You do bring in DeRozan, he can handle the ball. He can defend. He can score. You know, he can do a lot of different things. He's not the greatest three-point shooter, you know, but you can put him in lineups with Jenkins. You can put him in lineups with Isaiah Joe. You know, you can put him in lineups with You can put him in lineups with Isaiah Joe, Jenkins. You can put him with shooters. You know, he can play make, you know, he can play make the ball with the ball. I mean, he brings a lot to the table. But is that contingent on, hey, hold on, so we get this Duren deal done? And one thing you also got to ask yourself, and I know probably one of the main reasons that you know, they didn't make a deal with for Norman Powell is that Miami said they didn't want to do a sign and trade. That's not what they wanted to do. But maybe another one of the reasons that Norman Powell didn't get done too is because Jalen Duren didn't sign the contract. And maybe if they signed Norman Powell and they played Duren, they went over that salary cap apron. They went into the salary cap threshold. So I didn't really think of that until I started right now, and I started thinking about it. So maybe that's why they didn't go out there and make a deal with Norman Powell, because they didn't know how much money Duren was going to do. Now, maybe they was willing to go with Austin Reeves and maybe whoever else they was looking at as a free agent. You know, maybe they was looking at that from a standpoint of, yeah, we'll pay him, we'll get the money, we'll pay him, we'll offer him, we'll get him. So even if we do lose Duren, at least we did end up with Austin Reeves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did trade him. You know, at least we end up with a guy that can score. And I think when they started to think about Norman Powell, Norman Powell wasn't worth going into the luxury tax for. You know, or we got Powell, we don't want to go into the luxury tax, so now we got to trade Jalen Duren. I don't think he was worth that. I think they was willing to, play with that, with Austin Reeves. I think they were willing to take on Tyler Hero's $30 million salary and think about that down the line. I think they also was, thinking about, also think they were thinking about, Kawhi in a similar way. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. But honestly, Duren could be, plugging it up, man. Duren could be the reason. Had they got the Duren deal done, they probably get Norman Powell. Honestly. But like I said, I think they was willing to get Reeves. If they get Reeves, and then if they had to trade Duren, I think getting Reeves was worth trading Duren at that point. For somebody else, I don't think Powell was worth going into the luxury tax or getting rid of Jalen Duren. I think that's pretty much what the decision really boiled down to. But, I could be wrong on that. But in general, I think Jalen Duren making the All-NBA third team end up being one of the worst things this summer. And I think also the worst thing was them not signing him for $30 million last year. Maybe if you signed him for $30 million last year, maybe he don't even have a regular season he had last year. And that's the thing about paying some of these players, is that you pay them and they get their money and then they stop hooping or they stop being productive. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, hit the link in the description and say find me everywhere. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.